Hey readers, I'm Annie. I've got my tea and we have to talk about this gorgeous new reading journal I'm setting up for 2025. I went with this burnt orange linen cover with this stunning sun and star design in the gold embossing. I literally picked it to contrast the black moon and witchy themed bullet journal, which I'm going to be using for my everyday planning, and honestly, I'm obsessed with it. It's giving all the cozy, magical vibes and it's so ready for all the bookish adventures. Now, I know this camera angle isn't the best, okay? I don't do bullet journal videos often, so you can either get the top of my head peeking into the shots, or you can get my concentration tongue as I work through setting up these pages and getting everything in the right place. So pick your poison, people. Let's get into the setup. First off, we have this grid spacing guide, which let me tell you, if you've not done bullet journals before, this is an absolute lifesaver. I've done way too many time counting squares, so this spread will literally change your life. My cover page is titled The Reader, and I kept this gold metallic border that I had in my main bullet journal for the consistency. You'll see this throughout most of these spreads as well because it's kind of a vibe and I wanted these to have their similarities but also have their differences. But I just want to take a moment to appreciate the dragon that is on this page because yes, it is completely inspired by some of my favorite reads from this past year, namely the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. Iron Flame was my top book of 2023, and I just recently reread both books 1 and 2 in preparation for Onyx Storm, which releases in January, which I'm so excited for. And while I was setting up this bullet journal, I was listening to the Fantasy Fangirls podcast, breaking down everything in Iron Flame, and it is just like literally giving me life right now. I also read the book 1 in the Moonfall series by Sarah A. Parker, and I cannot wait for book 2 to release this coming year. I'm going to be talking more about that in my anticipated releases video, so do subscribe so that you know when that drops. But the world building and the characters in this book are so unique and I'm so totally hooked. The third series that really inspired this spread was the Dragon Isle Wars series by Frost K, and I binged this trilogy while I was feeling sick, and honestly it literally made me feel so much better. I am so obsessed. I could not stop putting this, I literally could not stop reading. I could not put it down. It is still living rent-free in my brain. So if you didn't know about that, now you do. So here we have the reading tracker for this year. Now, my goal for 2025 is 96 books. So what I've done is I've measured everything out. I've got everything super coordinated, like of course I was going to. And so I've got space for 96 books here, which is what I'm going to be coloring in. And then once we read them, the titles are going to be going onto this shelf. I way prefer tracking my books this way to just doing it on Goodreads and Fable. I do that as well, but I feel like filling this out and watching it fill up as the year goes on is just way more satisfying just having it here. And because I have overachieved every single year since 2021 on my reading goal, I have left myself a little bit of extra room to expand and, well, overachieve once again. Although I think I would be quite surprised because I got a lot going on in 2025, let me tell you. Okay, so here we have the reading bracket. Now, if you guys have been around for a little while and you've seen my last bullet journal setup, this is a very similar style to what you'll have seen then. So what I've done is we've got a space for every single month to have a top book of the month, and then each of those are going to be going head to head against all the other top books of the month, and this is how essentially I'm going to decide my top book of the year. So, I mean, it's a pretty self-explanatory layout. If you want a little bit more detail on what that is going to look like, then do subscribe and ring the notification bell down below, because I'm going to be going through my 2024 reading bracket very, very soon. This year, I'm also stepping up my review game with a ratings and a spice tracker page. So for the first time ever, I am including half-star ratings and spice levels for the books that I read. So you're going to know all about that when we get to our monthly wrap-ups. But essentially, the Too Long Didn't Read is a 0-star rating, is a DNF, and a 5-star is an absolute perfection of a story. To find out what the other ratings mean, you are going to have to stay tuned for the first wrap up of the year, because almost guaranteed we're going to have one straight out the gate. Next, I have my anticipated releases tracker. So I've got 3 pages dedicated to keeping track of what's coming out in 2025 that I cannot wait to get my hands on. This is going to extend more than just the anticipated releases video, because let's be real, there's a whole lot of things that are going to be pre-ordered. There's a whole lot of things I'm going to need to be keeping my eye on. So this page is essentially like a wish list and a countdown rolled into one, but do go check out that anticipated releases video when that comes out, because there's some important books on there. And then we're moving into the series tracker. I started doing this kind of like weird design with the paint, and it was just like really not vibing, in all honesty. So I ended up just like painting it this flat metallic-y orange, which honestly looks way better, but it was actually really difficult to write on and I wasn't expecting that. But that's neither here nor there. This is such a crucial set of spreads for me, because this is where I'm tracking all my series. Don't judge me, I have over 70 series that I am actively tracking on these pages. I've dedicated 6 pages to this, okay? Because as much as I want to continue reading series and finishing series off, I'm also not gonna lie to myself. But we've got a circle for every book published in all of these series, and as I read each book, I will be coloring in the circles as I read them. So like I said, I've given myself 6 pages for this, because even though I am continuing on with my continuing series vlogs, I'm also not gonna lie to myself. Let's be real here. Okay, if you watched my main bullet journal video setup, then you are going to realize the immediate problem that I ran into with setting up this mood board, because I printed these photos at the same time. And yes, they are way too small. And yes, I kind of wanted this to take the whole spread. And yes, it definitely only took 1 page, because apparently I am incapable of forward planning. No matter how many years I spend bullet journaling, I still cannot forward plan. So even though I have a spare page on the other side, what I went back in and later filled in is my arc tracker. So I really want to be reading more arcs this year, giving you guys the inside scoop on what is going to be coming out. I want to be reviewing at least 1 arc every month, and this tracker is just going to help me stay on top of everything so that I know when it's releasing, so that I can tell you guys before it comes out, because don't we all love pre-order? Okay, moving on to the January spread. I kept this super simple with just this triple moon, beautiful design, just kind of linking it back into the main bullet journal. And then I've got this open book because this is the start of a new year. This is the start of this year's reading journey. And then I've just kept it very simple with just like a basic calendar down below. And then on the far side, I have my TBR. So I've given myself spaces for 10 books, even though I usually stick to around about 8. And that's kind of what I I need to stay at to be able to achieve my goal of 96 this year, I've still given myself that little bit of extra space just in case of any big reading vlog projects, fresh releases, things that are just like really taking my brain space over what I, necessarily had planned, because the mood reading is almost certain to hit at some point or other. And that is everything for my 2025 reading journal setup. Like I said, this is the first year that I've ever done a reading journal that's dedicated to just this. I would normally put it in with my main bullet journal, but I am so excited to bring this little book along for every single reading wrap up this year to make sure that I don't forget any important details. So don't forget to like this video, check the subscription for all my social links, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments what your 2025 reading goals are. And then thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.